It's that quiet time of night when the house is still, yet your mind feels like it's just starting its second shift. You might be lying there, trying to recall the name of that neighbor you saw today, or mentally replaying a conversation, wondering if you missed a detail. This nighttime mental heaviness, that feeling of losing your sharpness, or the quiet worry that your memory isn't quite what it used to be, is a deeply personal experience. And it's one that more older adults share than you might think. It's easy to feel a flicker of fear that these small lapses mean something is breaking down. But before we go further, there's one thing worth understanding clearly. Your nervous system is protective, not broken. The changes you notice aren't necessarily signs of a system failing. Often, they are signs of a system that is simply asking for a different kind of support as it matures. Yet what we interpret as decline is frequently a shift in how the brain manages its nightly maintenance, and understanding that shift changes everything. As we age, our internal clocks undergo a natural transformation. Circadian rhythms shift, deep sleep cycles change, and the way our brain clears out the accumulated noise of the day becomes more sensitive to the conditions we create before we close our eyes. Yet there is a remarkable process that runs while you sleep, a kind of nightly cleaning cycle for your neural pathways. When this process is well supported, recall tends to feel smoother. The mental fog begins to lift. And some of the most meaningful support for this process can come from simple, natural choices made in the hours before bed. To understand how 3 specific fruits interact with this process, it helps to first understand what's actually happening inside the brain during sleep. So your brain has a waste clearance system called the Glymphatic System. Think of it as the brain's overnight maintenance crew. During the day, your brain is extraordinarily busy, processing information, generating thoughts, managing every function of your body. This activity produces metabolic byproducts that accumulate in the spaces between cells, normal byproducts of normal activity. When you enter deep, slow-wave sleep, something interesting happens. Brain cells shrink slightly, yet creating more space for cerebrospinal fluid to move through the tissue. That fluid acts like a gentle wash, clearing out the day's accumulated waste. For older adults, this nightly cleaning cycle is one of the most important processes for long-term cognitive resilience. It's how memories are consolidated. It's how the brain prepares itself to function well the following day. And it's highly dependent on the quality of sleep that precedes it. This system runs best under specific conditions: low oxidative stress, stable blood sugar through the night, and a nervous system that has genuinely downregulated from the day's activity. If the body is busy processing a heavy evening meal, or if blood sugar is spiking and crashing, the cleaning crew gets interrupted. The maintenance cycle becomes less efficient, and over time, that matters. This is where the concept of nighttime nutrition enters, not as a fix, but as a form of gentle support. We aren't looking for a single superfood to solve a complex biological process. No single food works that way, and it's worth being clear about that from the start. What we're looking for are specific nutrients that act as quiet signals to the nervous system, molecular nudges that tell the body the day's work is done, that it's safe to shift toward rest and repair. Certain fruits are particularly well suited to this role, not because of any dramatic effect, but because their nutritional profiles interact with sleep biology in ways that align with what the body is already trying to do at night. The timing matters too. Lighter, easier to digest options in the evening are gentler on the body's overnight priorities than heavier foods. Simple natural sugars provide the brain with energy for its cleaning processes, while fiber helps prevent the blood sugar instability that can fragment sleep. This is why fruit, specifically, has drawn attention in research looking at sleep and nighttime brain support. The first is tart cherries. Tart cherries are one of the few natural food sources of melatonin, the hormone the body produces to signal the shift towards sleep. But their relevance goes beyond melatonin alone. They're also rich in anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep color, which function as antioxidants. While oxidative stress accumulates in neural tissue over time and is one of the factors that affects how efficiently the brain's maintenance systems can run. Reducing that interference is part of what makes tart cherry consumption relevant to nighttime brain support. Some research has associated tart cherry consumption with modest improvements in sleep duration and quality in older adults. The effects are subtle. This is not a dramatic intervention, yet they are most meaningful as part of a broader pattern of sleep-supporting habits, not in isolation. A small amount in the evening, a few ounces of tart cherry juice diluted in water, or a small handful of dried tart cherries, tends to be easy for most people to digest before sleep. The second fruit is kiwi. Kiwi contains serotonin, which is a precursor to melatonin. The body uses serotonin in the biological pathway that eventually produces the sleep signal. So foods that support serotonin availability can interact with that process in a meaningful way. Kiwi also contains antioxidants and folate, both of which are relevant to the oxidative environment in which the glymphatic system operates. Some small studies have looked at kiwi consumption in the hour before bed and found associations with improved sleep onset and overall sleep quality over time. These findings are preliminary, and individual responses vary. But the nutritional profile of kiwi makes it a reasonable and gentle evening option that aligns well with what the body is doing overnight. 1 or 2 small kiwis in the evening is a light, easy-to-digest choice for most people. The third fruit is banana. Bananas contain magnesium and potassium, both of which support muscle relaxation. When the body is physically at ease, but it sends fewer tension signals to the brain, and that quieter signal environment makes it easier for the nervous system to shift out of alertness and into the deeper states where repair happens. Bananas also contain tryptophan, an amino acid the body uses in the production of both serotonin and melatonin. Magnesium in particular has been associated with sleep quality in older adults. Deficiency is relatively common with age, and low levels have been linked to more disrupted sleep patterns. Also, a small banana in the evening is easy to digest, tends to be gentle on blood sugar for most people, and nutritionally supports the biological processes the body prioritizes during sleep. Before going further, a few things are worth saying clearly. These 3 fruits are not treatments for cognitive decline. They will not reverse changes in brain function or address neurological conditions. If you have concerns about memory or cognitive health, that conversation belongs with a qualified medical professional who knows your full health picture. These are supportive dietary choices, not clinical interventions. That distinction matters. Supportive and curative are not the same thing. Individual variation also matters here. Digestion changes with age. Some people find fruit in the evening sits well. Others find it affects sleep comfort. Blood sugar responses to fruit vary between individuals, and this is particularly relevant for those managing metabolic conditions or taking certain medications. If you have diabetes, gastrointestinal sensitivities, or are on medications that interact with specific nutrients, it's worth speaking with your doctor or a registered dietitian before making any of these a regular habit. General nutritional patterns can point in useful directions, but they can't account for your individual circumstances, and that gap is exactly what a healthcare professional is for. Some people also find that environmental adjustments support the same biological processes we've been discussing. Reducing light exposure in the evening, creating a consistent wind-down routine, or using a simple journal to set aside the day's unfinished thoughts can all help the nervous system shift toward rest. These aren't essential tools, but for some people, structure makes the transition easier. Sleep is one of the most powerful systems your body has for supporting long-term brain health. Not because it's a cure for anything, but because it's when many of the brain's most important maintenance processes run, and those processes respond to the conditions you create around them. Supporting those conditions through what you eat in the evening is a modest, accessible form of long-term care. Not dramatic, not guaranteed to produce a specific result, but grounded in biology, and within reach for most people. Your brain is not a failing machine. It is a sophisticated system that has adapted across your entire lifetime, and it continues to adapt now. Regulation builds gradually over time. Small, consistent habits accumulate into something real. Your nervous system is protective, not broken, and giving it the right support at the right time is one of the quieter, more meaningful things you can do for your future self. This video discusses general biological processes for educational purposes only. Individual health situations vary. Please please consult a qualified healthcare professional for personalized medical advice.